The chapter 15. The return of Gerhard brought forward the child question in all its spring. He could not help considering it from this standpoint of grandparent, particularly since it was a human being possessed of a soul. He wondered if it had been baptized. Then he inquired. "No, not yet," said his wife, who had not forgotten his duty, but had been uncertain whether the little one would be welcome in the faith. "No, of course not," sneered Gerhard, whose opinion of his wife's religious devotion was not any too great. Such a coldness, such a irreligion, that's a fine thing. He thought it over a few moments and felt that Abel should be corrected at once. It should be baptized, he said. "Why don't she take it, have it baptized?" Gerhard listened to this and quieted him for a few moments, but his religion was something which he could not see put in the background by any such difficulty. How would the Lord look upon quibblings like this? It was not Christian, and it was his duty and attend to the matter. It must be taken forthwith to the church. Jenny himself and his wife accompanying it as his sponsors are. If not, he didn't choose the consensus for his daughter. He must see that it was baptized when she was not present. He brooded over this difficulty and finally decided the ceremony should take place on one of these weekdays between Christmas and New Year's, when Jenny would be at her work. This proposal he broached of his wife, and receiving the Europe while he made his next announcement. "It has no name," he said. Jenny had her mother had talked over this very matter, and Jenny had expressed preference for Weston of her mother, made bold to suggest it as her own choice. How would Weston do? Gerhard heard with indifference. Secretly had settled the question in his own mind. He had named in a store left over from the Halcyon parade of his youth, and never apparently available in the case of his own children. Wilhelmina, of course, he had no idea. Unbending in the least toward his small granddaughter, he merely liked the name, and the child was grateful to get it. With a far of ginger air, he brought forward his first offering of an altar of natural affection for offering. It was, after all, "That's nice," he said, forgetting his indifference. But how would Wilhelmina do? Miss Gerhard did not dare cross him when he was thus occasionally weakening. Her woman's tact came to the rescue. And the religion was a consuming thing with him. God was a person dominant reality. Religion was not a thing of mere words or of interesting ideas to be listened to on Sunday, but a strong vital expression of the divine will handed down from a time when many were in personal contact with God. This fulfilling was a measure of joy and salvation with him. The one consolation of a creature sent to wander in a way whose explanation was not here but in him. As slowly Gerhard walked on, and as he brooded on the words and the duties which the sacrament involved, the shade of lingering disgust that had possessed him when he had taken the child to church disappeared, and feelings of natural affection took its place. However much the doctor had seen it, the infant was not to blame. It was a helpless pulling. The tender thing demanded his sympathy and his love. Gerhard felt his hurt to go off the little child, and yet he could not yield his position all in a moment. "That's a nice man," he said of the minister to his wife as they walked along, greatly softening in his conception of his duty. "Yes," he was agreed. Miss Gerhard timidly. "It's a good-sized little church," he continued. "Yes." Gerhard looked around him at this rate, the houses, the shop of bricks, like on this sunshiny winter day, and then finally at the child that his wife was carrying. She must be heavy, he said in his characteristic German. Let me take her, Miss Hart, who was ready to bury. He did not suppose there. He said as he looked at the girl and then fixed it comfortably upon his shoulder. Let us hope she proves worthy of all that has been done today. Mr. Gerhardt listened, and the meaning in his voice interpreted itself plainly enough. The presence of the child in the house might be the cause of the recurring expressions of depression and unkind words, but there would be another and greater influence restraining him, and there would always be her soul to consider. He would never again utter the consciousness of her soul.